Japan is the third largest economy in the world. It possesses some of the most advanced technology on earth. And if it wanted to, many experts believe it could become a nuclear power within months. Yet, despite its wealth and capabilities, Japan does not have a traditional military. Its constitution renounces war, and for decades, Tokyo has avoided becoming a major military power. But why? Why does one of the world's richest and most technologically advanced nation deliberately limit its armed forces? And as tension rises in Asia, could that policy be changing? This is the story of why Japan never built a large military. Today, Japan lives in one of the world's most dangerous neighborhoods. It faces China, North Korea, Russia. Territorial disputes continue, missiles fly over Japanese territory, and military tension across Asia are increasing. Yet, unlike many great powers, Japan followed a very different path after World War II, a path that transformed it into an economic giant but not a military one. To understand why, we need to go back to 1945. Before World War II, Japan was one of the most powerful military nations on earth. Its empire stretched across Korea, China, Southeast Asia, the Pacific. Japanese forces conquered vast territories. But by 1945, everything has changed. After years of war, Japan suffered devastating destructions. Hundreds of cities were destroyed, and the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki marked the end of the conflict. Japan surrendered, its empire collapsed, and the country entered a new chapter. Following the war, Japan was occupied by the United States under General Douglas MacArthur. American leader wanted to ensure that Japan would never again become a militaristic empire. In 1947, a new constitution was introduced. One article will change Japanese history forever. Article 9. It declared that Japan renounces war and would not maintain armed forces capable of waging conflict. The country embraced pacifism, and military power gave way to economic development. But the Cold War soon changed everything. The outbreak of the Korean War in 1950 made the United States realize that a completely defenseless Japan was impractical. As a result, Japan created the Self-Defense Forces. Technically, these forces are not considered a traditional military. Their mission is limited to defending Japan. Today, Japan's Self-Defense Force possesses modern fighter jets, advanced destroyers, missiles defense system, sophisticated submarines. Despite constitutional limitation, Japan maintained one of the world's most capable defensive forces. One reason Japan avoided building a massive military is the United States. Under a security treaty signed in 1960, America promised to defend Japan. Thousands of American troops remain stationed in the country. The United States also provides a nuclear umbrella. This arrangement allowed Japan to focus on something else: economic growth. Instead of spending enormous sum of defense, Japan invested in infrastructure, technology, education, industry, and the result were extraordinary. In the decades after World War II, Japan experienced one of the greatest economic transformation in history. Companies such as Toyota, Sony, Honda, Panasonic became global giants. By the 1980s, Japan has become world's second largest economy. Some Americans even feared that Japan would surpass the United States economically. Japan had achieved something remarkable. It became a superpower without relying on military strength. Its influence came through trade, technology, and innovation. Japan's peaceful environment began to change in the 21st century. North Korea accelerated its missile and nuclear programs. Several North Korean missiles have flown over Japanese territory. These events shocked the Japanese public. Suddenly, the idea of national defense became more urgent. Japan began strengthening missile defenses, intelligence capabilities, cooperation with allies. North Korea reminded Japan that geography can be unforgiving. Perhaps the greatest challenge facing Japan is China. China's military modernization has transformed the balance of power in Asia. Both countries dispute the Senkaku Island in the East China Sea. Meanwhile, tensions over Taiwan continue to rise. Japanese leaders fear that instability in the Taiwan Strait could threaten Japan's security. As a result, Tokyo has steadily increased defense spending, and discussions that were once politically impossible are becoming more common. Japan is the only country in history to have suffered nuclear attacks. The memories of Hiroshima and Nagasaki remain deeply powerful. As a result, anti-nuclear sentiment is strong. Although Japan possesses the technology capability to build nuclear weapons quickly, it has chosen not to do so. Instead, Japan relies on America's nuclear umbrella. For many Japanese citizens, nuclear weapons are associated not with security but with tragedy. In recent years, Japan has gradually expanded its military capabilities. Defense spending is increasing, long-range missiles are being acquired, and security cooperation with the United States, Australia, India has grown significantly. Some analysts believe Japan is undergoing its biggest military transformation since World War II. Others argue that Japan remains fundamentally committed to pacifism. The debate continues, but one thing is clear: Japan's security environment is becoming increasingly dangerous. So why does Japan build a large military? Because the trauma of World War II, constitutional restriction, and the American security umbrella allowed the country to pursue a different path. Instead of military power, Japan chose economic power. Instead of conquest, it chose commerce. But as tensions rise across Asia, Japan is slowly adapting to a changing world, and the decisions it makes in the coming decades could reshape the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific.